Hey there. This is a little bit of a yoga flow for you kidney donors. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, so please do get clearance from your doctor, listen to your body, understand what's best for you with your movements. Uh, but let's get started. So find yourself on your mat, something that feels comfy. I'm sitting on top of a blanket to give myself just a little bit of ease here. Sitting in Sukhasana, you can cross at your shins, you can cross your ankles. I like having one ankle in front of the other. Just make yourself a little bit comfortable. Place your hands on your thighs or on your knees, and first draw your shoulders up toward your ears. Glide your shoulder blades back and just let them draw down. Don't worry about engaging your core. Just sit nice and easy. If it's comfortable to have your eyes closed, drop your eyelids. If it feels better for your eyelids to be open, to remain vigilant and alert in that way, keep them open. And simply begin to notice your body. Probably feeling a little different than you did maybe 6 weeks ago. And just notice. Notice where you might be holding on to tension that's not fully necessary, or where you do want a little bit more to hold you in. The places you could probably start to relax in are across your throat, back of your neck, your jaw, your cheeks, your forehead, all along your eyebrows. And if it is comfortable for you, maybe place one hand within your chest around your heart space. And if you would like, maybe one hand on a low belly. Be very gentle, be very careful, be very loving. And with your hands, if you're comfortable placing them somewhere on your torso, notice that the body moves with each breath. Acknowledge any sensations that, might be temporary. They might be longer term. They might be typical. Just be present with the way that you are right now. Just allowing the breath in and out to occur. Simply being present. Being grateful for this body. Grateful for what you've been able to share. And notice if you can make your inhales and your exhales approximately equal in length and maybe even intensity. Simply seeking this balance. And when you're ready, drop your hands back down to the legs if you had moved them. And very gently, we're just going to take some swivels here. So you're just going to lean over to the left a little bit and kind of swim around to the front. And then on the exhale, just kind of wrap it back in. Use your hands for your support on your thighs or your knees. Your eyes could be opened or closed. So here, really gentle, really careful. Not going to full capacity whatsoever. Just kind of stir in the pot, and when you're ready, start those revolutions in the other direction. And then come back to center, generally straight up and down. On inhale, just take the hands up. They don't have to fully straighten. Bring the palms together. Your hands in toward the heart center. And do this twice more. Again, you do not need to straighten your arms. I will not be doing that. I'm going to be keeping my elbows bent as I reach up. Exhale, thumbs to my heart center. One more time, just like this. A breath in. Equal exhale. And this time you're simply going to do a little bit of a twist, just a little bit. So you're just going to kind of twist your torso to the left. You might take your right hand to the left thigh, opposite hand just behind you to support. Just a little bit, and see if you can find just a little opening through the heart space, not through the belly space. Maybe feeling like your left shoulder head is drawing back. And then on an exhale, release that little tiny twist you took. You're going to swivel onto the other side. So same but different. Again, very small twist. We're not moving very far. You're just kind of drawing the right shoulder head back. If it's comfy, you might start to send the chin toward that shoulder as well. And if you drop the chin the tiniest bit as you swivel toward that shoulder, you might feel a little stretch in the opposite side of your neck. Little doggy visit over here. Come back to center and then roll over onto your hands and your knees. If you would like, you can take your blanket and place it on your knees or roll up your yoga mat as you like. We're just going to come to hands and knees here. Okay, so we are going to be doing some cat and cow, but it's going to be really gentle. So all you're really going to consider doing is just tilting the hips upward, so kind of like booty up, tail up, and then just lifting up the chin. Don't worry about dropping the belly or any of that. And then on your exhale, press your hands and knees, arch the spine just a bit. And then again, just kind of tilt your pelvis, maybe lift up the chin, nothing more. Exhale, draw it in. One more time like this, just tilt up the hips, bring the chin up. If you're feeling better with more movement, then go for it, but I'm taking it nice and easy. And then again, come into this cat pose by arching the spine. All right, tuck your toes, send the hips back towards your heels, kind of like a modified child's pose if, again, you're really supporting yourself with your knees and your hands, using your core just absolutely minimally, just really not engaging a whole lot. We're just looking for movement through the joints here. So you're finding some movement through your wrists, through your shoulders, your knees, your hips, your ankles, your toes, just kind of all over the place. All right, and then you're going to come back to that hands and knees, that tabletop position. Extend your right foot back with the toes tucked. Let me adjust my positioning for the camera a little bit. I'm wearing socks because it's cold here. I'm just going to kind of like send the right heel back, kind of pulse back and forth here. And again, we're not worried about engaging core. That's not what we're about here. This is more of a stretch. All right, then take that knee right underneath the hip, take the left leg back, toes tucked, and just shift back and forward. So if you're like me, likely you spent a whole lot of time sitting, lying down. And so this kind of movement is quite nice, I find. All right, we're gonna do just a little bit more here. Again, kind of stretching across the feet because again, probably a lot of sitting, at least for me. So you've got your toes untucked. You're gonna simply sit your hips back towards your heels. So we're seeking sensation, not pain. If this is much too much, I want you to place a blanket between the thighs and the calves or set a block between the ankles. So you can sit here, depending on what feels okay to you. So this is a really big stretch across the tops of your feet, across your toes. You're probably feeling stretched at the soles of your feet as well. Lots of compression. I know. All right, come forward. We're gonna take it up a notch. So, again, be careful. You're gonna tuck your toes, and then you're gonna do the same thing. So this is where you might want to have blocks nearby if you know that this is going to be something you're particularly sensitive to. So you can come back, and then that way you've got some supports here. So as you set your weight back on your toes, it's not so intense. Or if you're feeling just okay here, it's, kind of the same deal. Get your toes tucked. If it's okay to have your whole weight here. And again, another option is to simply set the block beneath your bum as you do this. You can also make like a little stack of blocks. You've got this cool platform. Many, many, many options. And as your body adjusts and you adjust, you'll find what works and what doesn't. All right, quite enough of that. All right, tuck your toes. We are going to take a downward facing dog. For this, I will be removing the socks. I find it a little too much for me. And take a bent knee through your down dog, right? Again, we're not taking like the stretchiest thing we've ever done. We're just getting ourselves into an inverted shape. And then just kind of walking the feet toward the hands and the hands toward the feet, right? Taking it easy. And offer yourself ragdoll pose. So some space between the feet, about 2 fists width distance. If it's comfortable, let the knees bend so your belly Rest against your thighs. You can use your hands as support on the ground. You might choose to take elbows in hand. I also really like the intense version of this where you interlace your fingers at the base of your skull and just let the weight of your elbows drag you down. But, it can be a lot. So find what works for you. Maybe pedal through the knees, move through the jaw. If you can make a little sway happen here, go for it. Again, we're not working too hard. And then here, we're gonna do a little bit of a stretch situation. So find your balance on your left foot. Again, feel free to use blocks as props underneath your hands for more support if it doesn't feel so good with your hands coming all the way down. So more weight to the left foot. You're gonna swivel the right foot to the outside, so the outsides of your feet are touching toward each other. And then again, bend the knees as much as you feel comfortable and then drape yourself over. You might feel this more on the outsides of your legs. If you feel it somewhere differently, that's fine too. I know it's probably a little bit more intense than when you were just folding forward. Right, when you're ready, use the strength of your hands to lift up. We're not using core strength. Place that right foot where it started. Same thing, but different. More weight to the right foot for that balance, and then swivel that left foot behind and around so the outsides of your feet are touching. Allow the knees to bend. Drape over the legs. And again, you've got your blocks here. You got the ground. Help yourself out. If it's become too intense, simply walk it on back. All right, and then come back to that that stance of feet hips width distance. Bend through your knees. Take your hands to the hips, elbows up, and you're just going to kind of roll your way up to standing. Nice and easy. And then release the arms alongside your body, palms out, mountain pose. Posture of strength. And then when you're ready, reach the hands up towards the sides, just about to shoulder height. And on the exhale, bring your hands in front of your chest, hands to heart center. We'll do that again. Kind of sweep the hands down alongside the body, reach out to the sides. Depending on how you feel, you might reach your fingertips away from each other. Probably stretch across the biceps. Exhale, draw the hands together in front of the seat of the heart. And we'll do this again. The inhale takes you out, halfway up. And the exhale will draw you in. Breath in through the nose, relax muscles of the back. Exhale. Close the lips and return back to the observance of your breath and the observance of your body. Sweep the hands down and then out, bend your knees and start to come forward to a forward fold. Again, drop the hands down to the ground for the blocks. Just relax down. You're going to make your way back to your hands and your knees. Send your props close by. You might want to use them again. Then actually just come down onto your bum. Maybe crisscrossing the shins or your ankles in the different way. And again, you might be sitting on top of a blanket here or a block. And if a block is too ouchy, like drape blanket over it. We're going to do some seated cow and cat. Again, nice and easy. This time focusing a little bit more on the heart space. So on your inhale, you're just going to lean forward, draw the elbows back, and just draw the shoulder blades together. And on your exhale, catching your hands at your knees, you're just going to lean back just a little bit, using the hands to help you out. Inhale, just come forward. Nice and easy. Not big stretches. Exhale, take it back. And then 2 more times, your own breath. Okay, when you're ready, come on to your back. Keeping the knees bent as you gently lower yourself down. This probably feels a little different. And we're going to take a figure 4 pose here. If you're like, oh gosh, this is so much, you can take it pretty easy. So cross the right ankle over the left thigh. This might be exactly where you want to be. If you want to take a little bit further, you might take one of your blocks underneath the left foot to lift it up. And if it is possible for you to take a little bit further, and of course, move carefully, mindfully, you might thread the right hand through the little space you created, that four, and interlace your fingers either behind the back of the left thigh or in front of the left shin. A little flexion to the right knee. And energetically press your right knee away from you and gently, gently draw the left thigh in closer to you. You relax the jaw. Maybe even start to relax your gaze. And then when you're ready, if you've got that intertwining of the fingers, let it down. Uncross the right foot, take it down to the ground, and then really gently just let the knees drop a little from side to side. A little bit of a secret massage on your bum, and your outer hips here. And let's do the same thing on the other side. It's the same but different. You might find that you've got a little bit more mobility in one side than the other. You know, it is what it is. So take your variation. Maybe prop the right foot up, or maybe it's floating because you've got your hand supporting the right leg. And if you're seeking just a little bit more, the left knee pushes away from you, flexion left foot, relaxing the right ankle. And find the ease through the face. And when this side feels just about the same as the other, release whatever you've got. You're going to uncross, take the left foot down. So take your feet off the blocks if they happen to be there. And again, a little bit of a drift of the knees from side to side. And this one is going to be a little bit of compression again, but elevating the feet. So just see how it works. Keep the left leg as it is with the knee bent, and then just draw the right knee in toward the chest. And think of it more like toward the right side of your torso rather than straight up and down. And so you can use your hands here, either on the outside or, at the back of the thigh, or if you want to grip the shin, just give yourself a little bit of compression here. Maybe a little rock from side to side, not too much. And then if you're interested, maybe you start to extend the right heel toward the ceiling so that right leg gets straighter. If it gets like all the way straight, maybe. It's not really that important. But start to just kind of kick the heel upward toward the ceiling. Again, you've got your hand on your leg to help yourself out. If this is good for you, you could always use a strap or like a belt or something too. And start to make some circles with the right ankle. Maybe as you're gently tugging the right thigh toward your chest, take those circles the other direction. You can feel your toes. So cool. All right, then drop the foot. Maybe a little shimmy from side to side. Yeah, let's do the other side. Pull the left shin. That's not a shin. This is a thigh toward the left side of your torso, your chest. And again, maybe you're just like, all right, this is good enough for me. This is awesome. Or maybe you want a little bit more. And if so, kick the heel toward the ceiling. Knee doesn't have to be straight. Maybe it's straighter. Maybe it's not. Interlace your hands behind you, behind your thigh. And maybe even like switch out the cross of your fingertips. And then take some of those circles. Heck yeah. Love an inversion. Other direction with your toes, with your ankles. I always wonder if the microphone is picking up how much my ankles pop. If so, you're welcome. All right, and then when you're ready, drop back down. Take your feet just wide enough so that your knees can rest on each other. You can leave your hands on the belly, on your thighs, or just simply alongside you. Draw the shoulder blades together. Maybe let the eyelids close. And just return to the sensation of your breath. This is the form that I'm suggesting for our Shavasana. So in this constructive rest, this supported position, allow yourself the gift of relaxing, of healing. by simply allowing yourself to be. You'll be here for the next 5 rounds of breath. I'll count for you so you don't have to. If you prefer to stay in your Shavasana for longer, please, I invite you to do what you need. If you're ready to reawaken, just notice the awareness coming through your body. Notice your thoughts becoming more sharp. I'm going to invite some movement to the physical body. Once again, maybe starting at fingertips and your toes, wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, very carefully, roll over onto whatever side feels the most comfortable for you at this moment. For me, this is my right side. Coincidentally, the more traditional side to roll on, but honestly, just do what you need. Acknowledge this transition. So many transitions, so much change. And then when you're ready, very carefully, using your hands to help press you up in whatever way you need. Come back to a seated position, maybe using one of your props. Rest your hands on your legs, on your lap, the eyes closed with a soft gaze. Turn back to the breath. This present moment. And when you're ready, I'm going to inhale. Bring your hands out and up again. No need to straighten the arms. Draw the palms together. And on your exhale, draw the thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought. Down to your lips for clarity of speech. And to your heart for clarity of action. And bow your head to your heart in honor, humility, and gratitude for each other, for this gift to give, to receive. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I cannot wait to see what we do to practice out in the world. So I send you back in the name of the highest good. Welcome back. Namaste.